I can confess today that we are living in a country full of deception, where we are being deceived by the politicians themselves. They may come up with many slogans just to try to unite us Kenyans. They come up with slogans like AZIMIO la KWANZA, as la nation. Those are two big parties that are they are fighting for the top position, and they have contestants also on the ground. But what is more ironical is that the politicians or leaders who are heading those parties, they are not doing according to their motto or their slogan that they embedded on their parties. And that is why I'm asking Kenyans. We always recycle problem every day because we are trying to do the same thing while we expect different results. I think that is madness. And I want to tell you, Kenyans, the only way we can find good leadership is to question those politicians who are coming from the ground to the ground doing their politics. And good leadership will start with us when we stand up and question what the action that we are doing. We want good leaders, and yet, as Kenyans ourselves, we are bad leaders. We complain that every day. We always complain that, oh, these leaders are not good. They are corrupt. They are mistreating us. They are oppressive. They are squandering national resources which were meant for development, and the development will benefit us. But during election, we keep on repeating the same mistake all over again. And I am telling you, it is because we are doing the same thing, expecting miracle to happen. For example, let us start with AZIMIO la Umoja. What I expect from AZIMIO la Umoja, I expect unity for the country, so that we can have peace among ourselves and bring in development. But ironically, the same politicians are the ones who are dividing people. That means they use slogan to deceive us, which is true. We have to be one. For anything to happen, we have to be one. That is half truth. But those people who are supposed to execute the purpose of that slogan are the ones doing the opposite. We're fighting for position. We're not willing to sacrifice for a good leader to be endorsed so that he can lead people the right way. So, when every demand is not met, division happens. And when leaders divide, we experience the effect to the ground, because those leaders who are representing, those leaders represent us on the top level, at the top level. So when they divide at the top level, we still reciprocate the same division here in the ground. And here in the ground, we are majority. So we feel the impact of that decision. What I'm asking those leaders, please, why don't we sit down and we decide the most able leader, the best leader who can lead Kenyans to the right direction. We endorse that person and we allow him to deliver. And when it's doing wrong, through the members in the Azimio la Umoja, they can use their party members. The party members can correct their party leader or the proposed candidate if he won the election. But we're not taking time. We are not unified. We are not having the common interest. Instead, everybody has his own personal interest. And when his or our own personal interests are not met, they seek division. And when division happens, there's a political instability may arise. And when political instability arises, we end up not fulfilling the interest. And that interest is the interest of common mwananchi. And that is where we fail in leadership. Let us come here to another slogan: Kenya KWANZA, or Nation. I think the founder of that slogan intended that let us all politicians put the interest of Kenyans first before we put ourselves. Before we put our self-interest into play. And that is true because that is leadership. That is half-truth also. Let us see the action of those people, and whatever they are doing, if it resembles the interest of the slogan itself. For example, people say that Nation. Nation means that we have to empower the youth, the working class, people who are struggling with life, trying to survive, try to meet the demand of what society wants, but in an hardship way. That means that most of the people who fell in that category are youths and young women and young men. People are struggling. Those are the people who are depending on non-formal employment to generate income so that they can raise their family. So what happened is this: a politician comes on the ground, he speaks out the slogan itself, and then after speaking that slogan, he acts in a different manner. We as youths, we expect, because most of us are hustlers, we are unemployed youths. We don't have anything to offer to show off that we are successful, because we are struggling, because after finishing school we have to spend more than 10 years seeking for employment and that employment eventually we may never get. It is uncertain. Our life is uncertain. So you find a politician come and spit out that slogan to the people, try to but instead of elaborating, they're just saying so that they can mask themselves that they are very concerned to the interest of that non-employed population, which most of them are youths, the young generation. So they came, they speak up their mind, but their action does not resemble the slogan itself. The trick still remains the same. Those leaders endorsed themselves. They endorse leaders who are wealthy, they have resources, and they leave out youths who are trying, youth leaders who doesn't have resources, but they have idea that can spin society from poverty level to a middle class society. They end up rejecting those leaders while they appoint themselves. When I say themselves, I mean those wealthy leaders and those wealthy leaders to vie for all those seats. You have to pay more money to gain a ticket for nomination, in which will be uncertain, or the outcome will be uncertain. So you end up most of the youths who are potential leaders are end up being left out in the race. And those people with money but with poor leadership skills end up winning the seat. So we continue the curse of bad leadership all again. Why? Because the same politicians are manipulating people to elect people with wealth, people with more resources, and leave out people with less resources, or even they don't even have resources. And maybe those leaders with the little or no resources would have bring change to the society because they have experienced the pressure caused by bad leadership. So we end up making wrong decision again. Yeah, I am not blaming them, but I'm trying to elaborate their manipulation. It is up to us as taxpayers. We feel the pressure of what life is offering to us. It is high time we change our ideology on how we look, on how we elect leaders into those positions. Because we are not electing those leaders in that position just only for a single year. We are electing those leaders for another 5 good years. The same leaders we are electing are the ones who are going to manage the resources that are supposed to bring development, and those resources, it is acquired by us paying tax in a difficult way. So when we keep on electing bad leaders into position, we end up paying more tax, we end up complaining more about corruption, and we end up complaining that development is not happening. So what I'm going to say is this: good leadership starts with us, and we can come and change the way we determine leadership in our country by electing leaders, not politicians who mask themselves out like good leaders. And we can do that by asking them questions. If any politician come to the ground and propose any development, anything, you should ask, how is this proposal achievable? And how can we, as the civilian, can chip in and help that proposal to happen? So a good leader will elaborate in a way that civilian will understand. As civilians, we will understand. But a politician will never, because that is where you will catch a politician, because you will know that this person is reading out from the script which was formulated behind the scene. You have a right. Your vote has power to bring change, or it has power to bring destruction. When we go to vote, we are not voting for ourselves only. We are voting for oncoming generation and the existing younger generation. And when we keep on making bad decisions, those younger generation will question us. And they will start by questioning our sanity. just as we are questioning the sanity of our own parents and our ancestors. Let us not elect a person based on resources he possesses. Let us elect a person who understands our language, who has interest for us. And that is what we call a leader. A politician can sacrifice the interest of people for his own benefit. But a leader sacrifices his interest for the sake of the people. And if you want to understand the character of a leader, let's see what Magufuli used to do in Tanzania. He sacrificed his own interest for the sake of the interest of his own people. Let us see Kericho governor from Timbilwet. Let us look what Kivuta Kibwana did. Let us look at the Machakos governor, what he did. Those are what we call leaders. Even though they may assume themselves as politicians, maybe they are using politics to gain that power. But when after gaining power, they put aside politics and go back and fulfill the interest of common mwananchi. And as our former president, the late Mzee Mosh, Daniel Torotich Arap Mosh said, leadership starts from the heart. And if you don't understand the language of common mwananchi, then don't cheat yourself that you are going to be a good leader. Just leave that position for leaders who understand the language of common mwananchi. He knew. But as we are making mistake by not believing in our own potential, by believing in the ideologies that belong to the past. And yet, at the end of the day, we go back to complain. So that God put us all in Kenya, and He ensured that by coexisting together, Kenya will have balance and will have peace. We all depend on one another. Kalenjin depends on Jaluo, Jaluo depends on Kalenjin, Kalenjin depends on Kikuyu, Kikuyu depends on Kalenjin. The same, likewise, we all depend on one another. Luya will depend on Luos, they may depend on Nandi, Nandi depend on Pokot, Pokot depend on Turkana, Turkana depend on Kikuyus again, Akamba, all 42 tribes. God put us all together in Kenya so that we can live in unity and help one another. What I can have, maybe you don't possess, and what you possess, maybe I don't have. So when we share, we create balance. And when we create balance, then after creating balance, we bring in growth among ourselves. And we can do that by putting right leaders to the position they are contesting. Yeah, every politician has a right to sell his agenda, but we should question every agenda that is being put in front of us. That is where we can save ourselves from this menace of bad leadership. Without that, we are going nowhere. Now we are moving towards 2030. We are complaining the same complaints that we had since the first I heard about unemployment was 1997. Up to today, we hear the same song. The same song keep repeating itself. The only difference is the different singers. So same monkey but in a different forest, but still performing the same tricks. Different monkeys, same forest, the same tricks. That is where we are now. We should judge leaders by their individual characteristic, the way they handle you people, the way they understand you, and that passion to bring change in the society. Without that, if we keep on, when people come and manipulate you by buying you so that you can go and shout for them to the crowds, and you keep on accepting that just because they are using your vulnerability, they are using your misfortune, they are using your poverty level to just manipulate you to go and shout for them, then you are part and parcel of the element that bring bad leadership into play. When they offer to buy, when they try to buy you, just accept what they offer, but don't go and participate in their agenda. They don't need to buy, those leaders, those politicians don't need to buy people so that we can understand, so that they can paint their image that they are being loved. No, that is manipulation. What are we showing our future generation? What are we showing our young children? And what are we showing ourselves? And above all, what are we showing God? God did not create us to live in bribery. God created us to prosper. And when we keep on supporting that narcissism, societal narcissism, then we are not moving anywhere. Jesus said, we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So when we start loving our neighbors, we bring back the lost unity. And when we bring back the lost unity in the society, we speak one language. And when we have decided that we are going to make right decision, everybody speak the same way. Regardless of the manipulation from the politicians, nothing is going to change. Our interest, it will be paramount. Because whatever we have to do, we have to look for a leader who is being controlled by God. And for us to find good leadership, we should start by loving one another. The good leadership starts with us. When we say that we are not embracing wrong ideologies, then we should stick with that. But if we say then we end up being manipulated, then we need to go back to the drawing board and see what is killing us. All those slogans are good, are functionable if we find the right people to execute the interest according to their slogans. Yeah, Kenya first. Azimio la umoja, yes, that is true. We need to be together. And when we're together, we put the interest of all of us first before we come and put our selfish interest. So our selfish interest should come second after the interest of all of us. So instead of government telling us that they will create employment, what I'm asking the government or the oncoming government, they should create policies that will enable us to prosper and create better environments for us to prosper. If it through farmers, let's say for example farmers, government should come up with a policy that the price of a liter of milk should be like this, and the price should remain universally all along Kenya. That is one way of empowering farmer. We should come up with the right education system like CBC, even though people are objecting CBC, but I'm saying that is the right way we have to go. We are tired of theoretical education. We want practical, even though some little theory, but also practical education. A talent-based education system. Now it is time to invest for ourselves. And we cannot invest for ourselves when we don't teach our children how to invest for themselves. Because our 844 system was education system that was factory based. You are being trained to work in factories, but you are not trained to invent. And yet we have several youths, several geniuses here in Kenya who can invent something, but due to the lack of education that can support their geniusity, we end up being workers instead of creators. The function of education, as I can say, the reason why we should be educated is not for prestige or to work for a factory. We have to go to school to be educated so that we can learn in our environment and come and solve the problem in our immediate environment. Because education is dynamic. Even through you can learn through observation. But we are not embracing that method of education. And when we keep on doing that every day, we will not move forward. We will keep on complaining about the same problem all on coming years, and nothing will change. We have to come and support what is functional in our current world. It is ourselves. Let us not blame. Many people say that we are being colonized. No. It is ourselves with wrong ideologies. So we have to sit down and question ours and have self-reflect on our own selves. What are we doing what wrong are we doing that keep on bringing bad leadership in our society? Because if we cannot manage ourselves, even somebody from outside cannot manage us. We are here to bring changes in society, and the time is running out. And if you are not part and parcel of bringing change in society, then you just stay. And leave alone those people who want to bring changes in society, We are doing this for our future generation. And whatever good we bring into society, God is going to reward us with something more better than what we input in bringing change. But if you are the one who is championshiping hatred and division in society, then God is watching you. You may win for now, but later on, your karma is catching up with you. So, my message today, Kenyans, we should try and make right decision on oncoming election so that we can propel our Kenya to the right direction. And those politicians who are doing this, you have a time to go and reflect on yourselves and correct what you are doing wrong. As civilians, we are ready to listen. And when you change, we will also be happy. Let us promote leaders who are true leaders, regardless of their material possession. If they have more resources and yet they are good leaders, let us give them a chance. That is another advantage. And even if they don't have enough resources, let us give them a platform so that we can experience good leadership. And when we empower one another, we have empowered the whole nation. And that is why whenever we start our national anthem, we pray God to give us strength, because it's our strength, so that through that strength we can work together. And we also pray Him to bring what? Peace. And the justice should be our defender. We should defend one another. We should not allow evil people to ruin our society. And we can do it. We can do that by standing with justice. And when we do that, we live in a nation of great prosperity. And will at the end, we shall eradicate poverty that is killing us and slowing us down to achieve our dreams. So as a leader out there, I hope you are going to listen to this. Let us not repeat the same mistake we have been making all long years. Even though mistakes have happened, I think it is high time we learn from that mistakes and do what is good. Not because we have to do, but let us do good things because it is good in the eyes of men and in the eyes of God. And God will be happy and protect us from